Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Bree Stefik. I'm the chairman of the Downtown Kissimmee Area Council, one of the 9 wonderful councils of the Kissimmee Osceola Chamber of Commerce, and we're coming to you live this morning from the Chamber of Commerce building here in Kissimmee. I wanted to just give you a little rundown and some information from some wonderful folks in our community with what's going on with COVID-19. So let me introduce them to you. We have Margaret Hart with the Osceola County Department of Emergency Management. We have Rafael Pratts with Florida Small Business Development Council out of UCF. We have Jennifer Shankweiler, who is the Director of Infection Prevention with Osceola Regional Medical Center. And we also have Rosen, Financial Advisor with Edward Jones. So good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for coming and being a part of this morning, just to inform our community of what's going on and take some steps as we move forward in this process. So we'll start with Margaret. Margaret, go ahead and let's give us a little information about what you're doing, some stuff that our business owners could really use moving forward.
Well, as Bree said, I'm Margaret Hart. I work with Osceola County Emergency Management. I serve as the liaison officer in our Emergency Operations Center. So it's my job to help the community and our partners stay informed. And the thing I really want to talk about today is business continuity planning. For those of you who already have a continuity plan in place, use this opportunity to really exercise and implement your plan. We encourage folks to have an all hazards preparedness approach. So your plan for hurricanes is the same one that can be put into place now, looking at continuity. So we really encourage folks to think about things like keeping it simple, understanding your day-to-day operations and incorporating your employees into that. And for those who may not have a plan in place, it's not too late to create one now. So we would encourage folks to create their plan. There's a resource that will be shared through the Chamber's website. It's called Open for Business, and it provides a series of templates that will actually walk you through creating your plan. And it takes you through items such as the risks to your business, finance, operations, employees, and it creates an opportunity for you to think critically about how you're being impacted now and ways to think about opportunities for improvement and moving forward from here. So again, it's not too late to create a plan. We really encourage folks to do that for their businesses now. And in addition to that, we're strongly pushing folks to submit what's called a business damage assessment survey. The Florida Department of Economic Opportunity, in conjunction with the State Emergency Response Team, has a portal online at floridadisaster.biz where you can actually submit information about how COVID-19's been impacting your businesses. And that information is made available to us here at the county level and at the state. And it's so important to collect that information because as we move forward and some of the resources that Rafael is going to talk about become available, it helps inform our current situation here in Osceola County and ways that may be able to help. So again, that's floridadisaster.biz. That link will be included on the Chamber's website too. So in addition to getting a plan, look into submitting a damage assessment survey. And with that, I'll pass it off to Rafael to talk a little bit more about planning and resources.
Well, thank you. Well, my name is Rafael Pratts. I work with the Florida Small Business Development Center of the University of Central Florida. And with that said, we offer 3 main services to the business community: consulting, workshops, and then market research information pertaining to the market. Now, I was invited today to share some information as far as what I've seen in the past couple of maybe weeks in reference to how the COVID-19 has developed and how it has impacted businesses not only here but also as they conduct business throughout the country. So I am going to share some information, but kind of going back to what you said about doing the survey, I really want to emphasize that because that's really important. Especially you want to tap into what they call the Florida Emergency Business Emergency Bridge Loan. That's going to roll out hopefully soon. That is a program designed by the state of Florida that they put that in implementation. Typically works for working capital, goes up to $50,000. It's a short-term loan, typically goes up to 6 months. I don't have the details yet. Typically, it's easy to get loans or that funding up to $25,000 without too much requirements. I mean, financial records over $25,000. They start asking you for your financials. My emphasis to you as a business owner would be trying to make sure you have your financial records in order. So when that moment comes in time, we could help you facilitate and put those loan packages together. We could help you with that, put that loan package together for the emergency loan bridge program, but also with the SBA economic injury disaster loan. That typically is a longer process. They are going to require more documentation, but again, we're here to help you, and we can help you put those loan packages together. So I would like to share a couple of minutes. I don't want to take too much time from your panel. As far as some things that I've seen, obviously, one of the biggest concerns for small business owners, obviously sales. When sales diminish, usually capital is very important, working capital. Have a good understanding as far as your projections for the next couple of months is going to be. This is a very uncertain situation because it's not like a hurricane where you could more or less assess damage after, but typically you have an ongoing situation, so you have to be good at using conservative figures, trying to project how your business is going to be impacted not only today, but in the upcoming months, hopefully into the end of the year, and hopefully by the end of the year, things will start picking up. But, consumer behavior typically takes time for people to kind of get back to normal. Understanding also workforce capacity, understanding who you have on board. If somebody becomes ill due to the infections, who do you have an alternative plan that they could kind of do that role without hindering the performance of your organization? One of the key things that I would like to talk about is not only the marketing component, how you are communicating not only to your customer base, how you're dealing with this situation, but also how you're ensuring the people that work for you their best working environment, where they're meaning show some flexibility, meaning if they have to maybe feel that work from home, if they could still do their job and perform what could be done off-site. So just kind of plan with your team to make those, to just have a plan in place, because it's not only them that work for you, but they might have loved ones that if they get infected or they need medical attention, their schedule is going to be a little bit off, so you need to plan accordingly. Understanding also your inventory and your working capital that you might need. The vendors, maybe the products that you source, maybe are coming from regions that have been impacted. And I'm not talking about Asia. It could be here domestically in the US, where maybe the product is coming from a region right now that they're having to juggle a couple of things, and maybe it's going to be some delays. So communicate with your customer base, understanding, hey, you know what, maybe your order was going to come out in 2-3 weeks. Maybe it's going to take a little bit, 10 days. People understand, as long as you keep them in the loop. So my recommendation is be proactive, both in your communication with your customer base, but also internally with the people that work for you. Also understand that a facility remediation cleanup costs. So for example, like when Disney decides to close down their operations for a couple of days, it's not just to close it down. Sometimes they have to spend money, allocate funds to clean or make some changes as far as maybe practices to build confidence in consumers that want to go to their facilities. One of them that is one of the key, and this is resources that I have pulled from the SBA, is a great resource for you to tap into, is also the business coverage insurance. You really want to make sure that you have business interruption insurance, meaning if you have a commercial policy, will be a good time to talk to your agent and figure out, sometimes people pay for things that don't even know they're paying for. So want to make sure you tap into them and figure out exactly, maybe if you have a business interruption insurance, that would be a great time to use it. But if you don't, there's always a hurricane, there's always a situation coming up in Florida. So it might be a good thing, if your budget allows, to consider getting that type of insurance. Also understanding the market changes. The market changes drastically. But the idea here, the federal government is trying to do a couple of things, lower interest rates. They are trying to facilitate or minimize the impact, not only to business owners, but consumers as well. Really want to understand the Florida economics. Remember, we solely rely not only on tourist dollars, but also people that buy within the state of Florida. So understand what your particular county is going through. I already emphasized marketing is very important, to especially have a good message, tell a good story, be more proactive than reactive, if that makes any sense. Sometimes business owners struggle saying that message to the community. if this is a great opportunity, if your organization is maybe volunteering or being part of a community effort, this is a great story to do like a press release and saying, hey, you know what, we believe in this community. Not only do we work here, not only do we create jobs, but also we give back to the community because we care for the citizens of this county, for the region. And I think that is very important. And again, going back to the financial records, really, really, really my biggest concern is make sure you have your ducks in a row as financial records, okay? If you haven't done your taxes for the last year, I think it's a good time to talk to your accountant to try to wrap that up and then hopefully get your records in a row to move forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Rafael. Excellent. So Jennifer, you have a little different perspective coming from the healthcare industry. So why don't you give us some information and things that you guys are sharing with your patients and that business owners can expect moving forward.
So thank you. I'm Jennifer Shankweiler, Director of Infection Prevention at Osceola Regional Medical Center. My role at the hospital is to coordinate with hospital leadership to ensure that our staff and our patients are safe in providing care and the care that they receive. The thing that I want to iterate to our community is mostly to stay calm and recognize that this is in a very fluid situation. Things are changing very quickly. So the guidance that we may have today regarding visitation or care for your loved ones in the hospital may change and be a different scenario tomorrow. For our business owners, I would recommend that besides staying calm, hand washing. Everybody performing hand hygiene is critical right now. We know that proper hand hygiene is the #1 way to prevent the spread of infections, regardless of the organism and what type of infection it is. I would also recommend for our business owners that we look at disinfecting several times a day those what we call high-touch surfaces. So things like doorknobs and telephones, anything that customers may come in contact frequently. That would be a good idea to help keep people safe. And again, recognize that, as Rafael said, that your employees may get sick from this and recognize that sick employees need to stay home and not encourage employees to come to work when they have a fever or starting to get a cough, and recognize the signs and symptoms that could present as COVID-19 and recommend that they stay at home to contain that.
Excellent, thank you. And folks at home, feel free to ask questions right here on our live feed, and our panel will be happy to answer those in the next few minutes as well. So thank you so much, Jennifer. Rob, you've got a little different perspective as well, and I know you're coming to us with a different this is a different type of setting for you normally, so I know you have a limited amount of information that you can share, so we appreciate you being here, and I'll go ahead and let you share that.
Thank you, Bree. Due to industry regulations, I am a bit limited to what I can say in this type of environment, but just thought it was important for me to speak here today. There's a lot of fear and anxiety and questions relying to the financial markets. So I thought it'd be good just to come today and just read from our latest strategy report. Just please know I'm definitely talking to the long-term investor. This is something that we will get through, we've been through before, and really need to stay calm and not panic. So I know it often feels like the stock market takes the stairs up, but the elevator down. The latter rings true currently, with stocks falling more than 20% from their peak, crossing the official threshold of a bear market for the first time in more than a decade. Market sell-offs are fed by fear and are eventually exhausted when extreme pessimism is priced in and investments become re-anchored to the broader outlook of fundamentals. So a couple of things that I think are important right now. Number one, there appears to be a high degree of pessimism already priced into the market. Number two, the health of the economy entering the unique situation will play a key role in fostering its rebound as the virus runs its course. And three, very important, diversified portfolios aren't mirroring the stock market decline. So what are 5 key steps to navigating pullbacks? I'll give them to you. Number one, avoid the temptation to panic. This pullback, just like those before it, won't last forever. You'll want to be invested when the rebound takes shape. Number two, measure your progress against your goals, not the peak value of your portfolio or short-term fluctuations. If your goals haven't changed, your strategy to achieve them shouldn't either. Number three, put time on your side. You're investing for the long term, so use that to your advantage. 4, leverage the power of diversification. A balanced portfolio of 65% stocks and 35% bonds has held up better, dipping roughly half as much as the Dow. And 5, lean into volatility. History shows the best times to be opportunistic are when it feels toughest to do so. There's also a big market cycle of emotions. It happens through all cycles of the market. Right now, we're definitely at the fear, surrender. We're hearing for the first time in a long time, this time is different. It is not different when it comes to the financial markets. It might be a different cause, but we've been through these before. Since 1955, we've had 10 bear markets. So again, a bear market is when the market goes down by more than 20%. This is our 10. The 9 previous, the average had a total decline was 26%. So as of with today, we're a little bit past that from peak to trough. The time from the initial 20% drop to the bottom of the market averaged 86 days. So something different here. So obviously we're seeing it much quicker, but the 86 days is not a long period of time for some of these large drops. And the third one, the stock market returned an average of 25% over the next year and 32% over the following 3 years for our previous 9 bear markets. So again, talking to the long-term investor, we need to remain calm. We will get through this. First and foremost, make sure we're healthy. Listen to everybody else up here as far as health is concerned, and we will get through this. So if you have any more questions, anything I can do for you personally, please let me know. I'm here for you. Thanks, Bree.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. All right. So again, we're very lucky to have such wonderful folks that kind of came together last minute. I know, like Rob just said, I'll reiterate it. This has all happened very quickly and is changing on a day-to-day basis. So we appreciate you all tuning in. Now, if you aren't catching this live and you're catching this a little bit later, please feel free to still post any questions in the comment section here, and we at the Chamber will kind of field those and get some answers to you as well. The Chamber website, KissimmeeChamber.com, has a up-to-date blog with all information, so that is currently being adjusted and updated as we go throughout all days, and information that's coming in and updates that we get locally and above. So feel free to check that out as well. And then we'll also have all the links and information that everyone on the panel spoke about. So if you're looking to get that assessment taken care of or getting your business plan started, if you haven't already, please head over to KissimmeeChamber.com and we will get that link on there for you so you can get us started and all of that. Any last minute things you guys want to kind of reiterate or as we sign off here today?
Sure. I'll just carry on what my counterparts have said at the table here. When creating your plan, this is the exact kind of information you want to be taking into account. With your workforce capacity, your employees, your supply chain, these are the kinds of things that go into your continuity plan and that are part of that business plan toolkit that will be on the website. All of those factors, if you need help figuring out what goes into your plan, those templates will help walk you through it. And again, it's going to be very important, as Rafael and I both said, to get that business damage assessment survey in at FloridaDisaster.biz.
Awesome, excellent. And don't be afraid to reach out. The Chamber is here for you as a business owner, always. And as we move forward in this process, we're a great, strong community here in Osceola County. And as we'll kind of learn throughout the last few days, we're taking the mantra of facts over fear. So we appreciate you tuning in to get the facts from this panel. And hopefully we're going to make it through this. So thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah.